take. Speaking of Deion, he said after his Jackson State coaching debut on Sunday that his personal items were stolen from the coach's office during the Tigers' 53-0 victory over Edward Waters, leading to him to have mixed emotions about the day.
I'm pissed off right now because I have mixed emotions. We won. The kids played really well. But while the game was going on, somebody came in and stole every darn thing I had in my locker room, in the coach's office. Yeah. Credit cards, wallet, watches. Thank God I had on my necklaces. How? So how do you think it feels coming back after just teary-eyed because the guys have presented me with the game ball, one of the best moments I've ever had in my professional sports career emotionally. And then you go into your locker room, your coach's office to digress, and you notice and you don't even have a phone to call your mama, to call your girl, to call your kids because it's been stolen.
Following Sanders' news conference, the school told ESPN that his items were misplaced and found. But Sanders disputed that the items were misplaced in a series of tweets later Sunday, saying that his assistant walked in on a man in the process of committing the theft. And following Deion's tweet, the school said several items belonging to Coach Prime were taken from the locker room. Those items were quickly recovered and returned. Stephen A., what did you think of Deion's overall coaching debut?
Well, it was a spring football game. They won 53-0, if I remember correctly. So I'm happy about that. Knowing him the way that I do, we're friends, we're brothers. I know what coaching means to him. I know how passionate he is about it. And although I would have loved to have seen him get the job at Florida State, and I think Florida State made a mistake by not hiring their superstar, obviously he's an alum of Florida State. I'm very, very proud that this guy is associated with HBCUs because y'all both know how near and dear HBCUs are to me, being a graduate of Winston-Salem State, which is an HBCU. Having said all of that, here's what I would say about his reaction to getting his items stolen. It's incredibly unfortunate. It's embarrassing to Jackson State. I feel terrible that happened to him. I haven't had an opportunity to talk to him about this yet. My immediate reaction is that I would have handled it differently, however. And the reason why I would have handled it differently is because the actions of a few, the criminal act, the unfortunate actions, the embarrassing actions should not be a reflection on Jackson State. But that is how it may be inhaled and grasped and interpreted by those on the outside. HBCUs have incredible challenges, as you all know that I've highlighted on many, many occasions, in terms of notoriety, cachet, interest, support, financial and otherwise. It is a challenge for historically black colleges and universities to receive those things. This does not help. It doesn't help when you go in front of the cameras on national television, although it's true, and although his emotions are totally, totally understandable. I'm not blaming him for anything. I'm simply saying that if it were me, I would have handled it differently. I wished he had handled it differently because I think that people are going to use that as an excuse to sit up there and say, all right, now tell me why my child should go to Jackson State. And those are the way that, when people are against you and you are operating behind the proverbial 8 ball and you have those challenges coming up, unfortunately, that's how things are interpreted. So I wish he had handled it in-house in a more private manner rather than publicizing the fact that his stuff was stolen. That's my only thing.
I respect where you're coming from, Stephen A. I respectfully disagree in this case, and I say that knowing that this is very personal to you in a way that I cannot relate to because I did not go to an HBCU. Not African-American, didn't go to an HBCU. So I realize how personal it is for you. And I say that to preface what I'm about to say.
Sure.
Think about what Deion Sanders said. He said, this was one of the best moments of my professional sports career. Deion Sanders. I know he's coaching college kids, but he's getting paid, right? Like the coach is a professional. Deion Sanders, to say that one of the greatest athletes who ever lived. He was a fantastic baseball player. He used to play in the postseason. Deion Sanders, one of the greatest football players who ever lived. I mean, you know, like in terms of guys I saw with my own eyes, Lawrence Taylor and Deion Sanders, then talk to me about everybody else. Won Super Bowl, like he was the balance of power in the NFL. But going to an HBCU as a coach and being presented the game ball after winning in a blowout, they didn't have any blowout wins last year, meant more to him. So he's dealing with that. Let's start with that. He's so proud. He's so happy of this accomplishment. Here's the thing. You said HBCUs have a lot of challenges. And how are you supposed to sell this to kids? Hey, come to Jackson State if you know, Deion's putting them on blast. I say you're more likely to get to be the place that you can honestly sell because Deion Sanders is putting you on blast. And because Deion Sanders followed up with their little PR spin by saying, no, let me go into detail. I have someone who caught the crime in its mid-commission. They saw what was going on. No. It's not what the school is saying. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. And Deion Sanders is saying, I'm bringing a different standard to this school right now, certainly to the football program. And no, we're not going to operate in the shadows if something bad happens. You want to win the PR battle? You're going to win the PR battle with the truth because we're going to take responsibility. Stephen A., I think that goes hand in hand with why Deion Sanders has been such a great athlete in his career and why he has a chance to be a great coach.
Well, I would say this to you. Before I move any further, let me clarify that that's their spring schedule. It wasn't some meaningless game. That's their spring schedule that they're in the midst of right now, which is why the game was what it was. But what I would say to you is this. I get where you're coming from. You know, light, the sunlight is the best, disinfectant. I get all of that. There have been many times. Deion Sanders has always been an incredibly honest and straightforward dude. And that's why I love him as my brother. I love him dearly. There are times in his career where he will tell you that he was a bit too open. He was a bit too candid. He was a bit too honest. And that might not have been the way to go. So, in other words, that light or that sunlight being the greatest disinfectant, we can say that, but that's not necessarily always true. It doesn't mean that you lie. Again, we're not encouraging him or anybody else to lie and be deceiving. What we're saying is whether or not something needed to be publicized. And I'm saying for the purposes of what he's trying to build at an HBCU, it might not have been anybody associated with the program at all. I mean, I don't give a damn where you at. There's criminals everywhere. There's always somebody that's going to be a thief. There's always somebody that's going to engage in salacious or unethical behavior. I don't give a damn in any walk of life that you encounter. That's always going to be the case. But considering this is his first game and the moment and what it meant and what have you, I don't blame him one bit for his emotional reaction to it. All I'm saying is that I wish that part of it had not been publicized. I wish that would have been handled in-house because there's a lot of things that a lot of people with the wrong intentions can do with that. That's all I'm saying. I'm certainly not condemning him for anything. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, understand both sides. Obviously, he felt violated after pouring his heart and soul into that game. But here's the good part. We have him on Wednesday, and we'll talk to him about it on Wednesday when he joins us. We will leave it there, fellas. When we come back, we got to talk about the Lakers. It was not their weekend. They fell to the Heat and the Nets. Is it fair for LA to expect more from the King? We're talking LeBron. And the rookie Anthony Edwards looking like a vet, posterizing